Well, gee whiz and holy cow. He's only gone and started painting again. Oh my god. That's amazing. But not really. This is a painting. The end. Well, it is, obviously, that. That's not a lie. I'm not a liar. Well, I am, but not about things like that. I only lie about important things. Like when I tell my mum that I love her. That was also a lie. I don't ever say that to my mum. I didn't draw this, but I am painting it. This was drawn by a friend of mine, and I am painting it as a surprise. Shh! Don't tell her! You'll spoil the surprise! It's like a cartoon drawing she did of herself, and I quite like it, and so I'm painting it. Which I have done and do quite a lot. I especially in the early days of my Instagram, I used to do that quite a lot. Find people's drawings that I liked on Instagram and paint them, and then make them repost the painting. So I got loads and loads of followers. That's how you do it, kids. You ride other people's coattails. Get famous off of other people's artwork. Just colour it in. And then you get lots and lots of followers. Yay. Which is part true, part less than true. So as you might have seen, I started with a basic... this is all acrylic paint, by the way, for those dull people who feel the need to ask. I started with a basic wash of underpainting, all in purple, because I feel a purple tone is what would suit this picture. Did I mention it was a drawing of herself in cartoon form? Yes, I think I did. As like a vampire girl, because she's a goth chick. One of those fucking weirdos. One of those outcasts of society, because society's rules are just boring and dull, man. Oh, just be yourself. Be free and do what you want. And dress like all the other goth kids. Man. Oh, how cool and edgy. You fart. But she's good at drawing and shit. And she drew this and I liked it, so I'm painting it. For the skin tones to match with the tone of the piece, I've mixed a basic peachy skin tone into the purple that I mixed for the base coat. So it's a more purpley skin tone, obviously. But of course, she's goth, so she's pale because she doesn't go outdoors, which I guess is probably why we get on, because neither do I. So I'll be paling it up further and further. There we go. You see this layer already more pale than the last. Again, not telling you how to paint, just telling you how I paint, because that's more important. This is only going to be a quick one. The whole point of this is to be a little quick one. I'm not going to do too many different tone and colour shifts. It's all going to be fairly basic, singular colours and such. Just enough to hopefully make a nice little painting of a thing. Because painting is something I used to do very, very much. Back before I somehow, somewhere became fucking obsessed with all the Bic pens and shit. I used to paint all the time. Like, that was how I coloured. It was paint. But, of course, painting takes a lot longer and a lot more energy to do than just the old ballpoint pennings, which is probably, I think, partially why that came about. I had a lot more free time back then. I wasn't working full time. I was living at home. And it was, hey, yeah, let's get the fucking paint box out and do some fucking paints and shit. Whereas now I draw with ballpoint pens on my lunch break, rather than have a whole set of paints and water and everything on my lunch break. It's just easier. But I am wanting to paint a lot more. I'll get into some in a second. So I made a slightly purplier skin tone, which it may not look it in contrast to the purple of the background. It may look like a fairly basic peachy colour, but it's not. It's not, I promise. But I started this by lying, so I could be lying again. You'll never know, you bastard heads. Well, look, here's my palette. So that's the purple I mixed. Oh, I point my finger. This is the purple I mixed. And that's, that's like a basic peachy colour, and a slightly purplier, peachlier, palier, purpley peach colour. Which I feel like I've not got it pale enough. I might have to pale it up a bit more. Still not quite getting it. Oh no, it's not working exactly how I wanted it to. It's a disaster. And as I have said in previous videos, this is a technique I learned through painting for comic books, in order to gain maximum coverage in minimal time, adding a few layers of highlights on top of whatever else to do something. Boy howdy, you and sure can fucking talk about some shit. I try not to get into the self-deprecation stuff, but it's hard when you hate yourself. Well, yeah, that's how I work. I take a drawing, paint over it. This one I traced from my laptop screen after a friend had sent me a photo of the drawing she had done. And then I painting over it, yes. Take a drawing, paint over it with an underpainting coat, a base coat of a colour, and then paint a few layers on top of it to get whatever this could be considered to be. Usually leaving the lines that are there, but if it comes to it, if it makes it easier, I paint over them, and then I just add them back in with some ink afterwards, because I use ink in my paintings quite often, because I like it. I like the look it gives, the contrast of the sort of ink lines with the painterly textures of the acrylics. Man. And I use spray paint for a bit of background, so then when I peel this away there'll be a nice sprayed edge to it, which may or may not look cool, depending on how well I've done it. So I'll paint over the eyelashes and eyebrows and things for now, just for ease of use, and I'll add them in properly later. And even then, if I hadn't painted over them right now as I'm doing, I'd have added them in anyway. Well, not added them, but sort of made them stand out a bit more. I want to keep the purple on the underside of her face. There's like a bit of a reflected light kind of thing, as I've spoken about in previous videos, because that's cool and gives a bit more form and depth and all that shite, all that happy horse shite. Bloody duh, shut up you and you fuck up. vampire girly girl, vampire hands. She's wearing like a mesh top, so I'm going to try and make that darker but still light enough. Looks like it might be good. And again, I'll add the mesh in with my ink pens, just a basic drawing pen or something. And then it'll look okay, maybe. I guess we'll see. I do want to do this quick. I'm hoping to have the whole thing finished in like the hour of the video length that I usually do. I think that's coming out okay. Oh, I think it even looks better in live person than it does on the camera, which makes a change. Ooh! I didn't think through very much to talk about during this one. I was just going to get a painting done and show you that I'm painting while I paint my painting. Oh, it's still not pale enough. God damn. Bit more bare, still not. Might need to go all out, just go flat white. But that would be silly, that would be too much. No, that'll probably do. Probably. Some wishful thinking right there. Oh, penis! Sorry, I got to talk, haven't I? Ugh. I guess most... Oh, I hate talking about like using my podcast to talk about podcasts. It's fucking shit, isn't it? Talk about something fun. Talk about the art, Ewan. How about that? You penis brain. But it's not. Oh, who cares? I don't even care about anything I have to say. So I'll carry on painting. I use dirty water. There you go. A tip. Paint like Ewan. Don't clean your water. Primarily because you're lazy and don't care enough to use clean water and shit. But also, it's just, I don't know, it's better. It's better. It gives a nice like tint to it, doesn't it? No, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. So yeah, I'm trying to get back into the routine of painting. I did the artwork for this graphic novel some years ago, maybe 2014, I want to say, or something along those lines. A sci-fi adventure called The Intergalactic Adventures of Zach Ridley, which is available to buy. It's out there in places. And, you know, it came out, it was a thing. And I have been, I guess, allowed and asked to by the writer of said graphic novel to work on the second one, to do all the artwork for the second one. So I did all of the artwork for about 100 or so pages or something. And yeah, it was good fun. I learned a lot. And very shortly after, we discussed doing the second one, and I got parts of the script here and there. But again, back when I did the first one, I wasn't working, so I was able to spend literally all of my time doing it. Whereas now, sadly, I cannot afford to do that. But I'm trying to at least paint something. Because then, even if I can't sit down all day, every day, painting this graphic novel, I can at least spend time doing parts of it. Can't I? And do you know what? Do you know bloody what? I'll bloody show you the thing. I've got a copy, conveniently, right here. The Intergalactic Adventures of Zach Ridley. That's my artwork. I painted all that. That's Zach Ridley. And a whole bunch of other fuckers. Now, this is the first one. I hadn't really done comics properly. So some of the artwork's kind of cack. You know, it's not like that's kind of neat. That face, but that's not. And you know, it stands to reason that like the artwork in the latter part of the book, I feel is a darn sight better. Let me zoom us out a little, or out instead of in. But yeah, it's a whole thing. You know, it's an actual. That's kind of neat. A cityscape. It's a whole book. I did all the artwork for it. It took about 6 months of solid work. And I really want to do the second one, because here's a sneak peek. I did a few pages of the second one. So that's one of the pages from volume 2. And that's one of the pages from volume 2. And these are the original paintings. Like, this is the actual, it's all painted, spray paints and acrylics and ink and such and whatnot. And I feel, personally, my artwork has come a long way since doing the first book. As I say, I learned a lot doing it. You know, what not to do as much as what to do. These fun little background characters, I like them. Little walkie spacemen. Space shopping. Space head scratching. Space waving your arms about. Everything's in space in this comic. It's quite fun. So that's from the second actual full book. But then the writer published a compendium of stories based on full volumes he had written. So he asked me to do a 6-page short story, which is a prequel to the first book. So I did, and here's that. I'll show you the original artwork for that. It's page 1 of 6. And again, you know, I've gotten more into the characters and how they look, how they act and move in pages and panels. And have fun filling in the backgrounds and stuff. And so I'm very eager to do a whole other book full of this kind of stuff, because it's good fun. This 6-page short story really did get me in the mood for painting, the whole characters and the world again. So I'm really fucking itching to do more of that. But again, it's just time, innit? Because one whole page, all fully painted from start to finish, drawing it, because it's all, you know, rough ink drawings with just a permanent marker drawing pen, and then a wash and then the paints on top. It can take anywhere from 6 to 12 hours to finish, depending on how much detail is in it. And, you know, I get away with stuff because I fill them with background characters, like these funny little, like, childish drawing people. But, you know, you get the idea that there's people in that space, don't you? And you can see my techniques of, like, just roughly painting in areas. And obviously there's going to be speech bubbles here and there. And this was published. It was printed black and white, which I wasn't sure I knew was going to happen. So the colours didn't come out too well. But it's kind of cool. So none of it has to be perfect. And I think if you're going to draw a comic book, it seems silly to make it perfect. Because if you're reading a comic book, you don't... I mean, I buy them specifically for the art, so I spend all my time looking at the artwork. But if you're buying a comic book in general that has a story to it, I guess you don't really spend too much time looking at the art if you're reading the story. So the art, while it should be good and acceptable and move the story, shouldn't necessarily be something that you really slave over, you know, if you make everything fucking spot on and perfect. But at the same time, there are people who do that and make it work, and that's sort of what they do. So it's, you know, cool, fine, whatever. But I don't know, not for me. And again, like the comics I enjoy looking at, you can see that they're painted. Like, it's not trying to create, you know, a hyper-realistic or even an image that looks computer generated. You can look at it and you can see, well, this is just the underpainting that I've left for the colour of the carpet, and I've painted all the other colours over and around it. You can see the brush strokes here and there. You can see my ink lines. So you can see it's a painting, but it works for the whole fucking thing. And that's the last page. This is the second to last page. Yeah, and again, I'm much happier with my art style now than I was with the first book, because the first book I went in blind. I designed the characters in no time at all and just went with it. I stole things from Judge Dredd and Warhammer and many other places, but I feel a lot more confident in myself and my skills now to actually do a whole other book, which will just hopefully blow the first one out of the water. Even down to like the forms on here, just looking at it now, I quite like these. I managed somehow to make these quite solid looking forms, which I really did not do so well in the first one. And so my layout, I think has gotten better. And maybe I'm a bit smarter and funnier, so everything looks a bit... Look! Is this guy... Where am I pointing there? Is this guy far away, or is he just really small? This guy's got loads of heads in his space helmet. That's fucking weird. Sleepy Zach. This is Zach Ridley. This is his friend Dan. He's an android. Some good shit. And the last page of that 6-page story. But yeah, they're fun characters. I like the story. The writer is a great, fantastic guy by the name of Ian Sharman. Shout out. Find him on social media. But yeah, it's a nice like sci-fi world, so you can just sort of go all out and do whatever. So there's like floating space cars and people taking snakes for walks and stuff. This guy's got 2 heads. Why has he got 2 heads? Glowy pads that you put thumbprints on and shit. I'm really happy with this artwork, actually, the more I look at it. So I do look forward to doing more. My thinking being, I tried to do some time ago but never really got around to, is just laying the page out, drawing it, maybe underpainting all of it, maybe not, and just work on 1 panel a day. If I do that, 1 panel a day, maybe even like 2 or 3 panels a week, a couple of hours per panel, then eventually I could get a whole book done, which, you can say, well, that's going to take fucking ages, Ewan. Are you really going to spend all that time doing it? But, yeah, it will take ages, but then it will take even longer if I don't actually paint anything. So, better to paint something than nothing, I guess. Or something. Anyway, back to the fucking painting that I was actually doing. Now, for the eyes and such, and those kinds of things, I don't like to use just white or just grey. I use a is it burnt umber? I think it's a burnt umber, like a dull, dark brown colour. Again, that in with like the dirty water and such just gives a bit more, I don't know, tint and shit to it all, doesn't it? It's just a bit more fun to look at than just like white and skin colour. And there you go. Now with this extra added colour in, you can see the less peachy colour of the skin tones and such. It's all about contrast, people. Contrast one colour with another colour. And different colours, especially yellow. Yellow's a very weird colour to paint with. Because it will look very different depending on what colour you paint it on top of. So the base coat for your yellows is very important, depending on how you want your yellow to actually come out. Which is another one of those things you learn by trial and error. You can ask someone, hey, what paint do you use and how do you do this technique and how do you do that technique, and teach me how to paint. Teach me everything you learned over years and years in 5 minutes, Ewan. Which, I try to just talk and help people where I can, but I learned by doing. I don't know. That's the only real advice I can give. Because even if I tell you, this is how you paint, and you don't paint normally, then, or usually, painting isn't your thing, then you're not going to just get it. Like, you have to do it, you have to practice, get better at stuff. And again, I don't claim to be good. I don't know if this painting's coming out quite as I'd envisioned, but Again, I'm learning with that. I'm taking that and I'm learning from it. Oop-a-doop-a-doo. And hating the sound of my own voice the whole time. And then highlights to make the eyes actually look like 3D objects rather than just white spaces in her head. Because the eyes are globular, if that's a word. Globular, like globs? I don't know, you get it. Or perhaps you don't. Well, either way. And my technique is not very done. Good one, Ewan, you fucking asshole. Lots of finger smudging, very rough blending. Because I like it to look like it's just paint on a page. I don't like it to look perfect. Or perhaps I'm just fucking lazy. And if I could get it to look perfect, I'd have it look perfect. But none of that for me. And again, this is supposed to be just a quick one. How long's the video been going so far? Oh, over half an hour already. Well, depending on. Oh, because I'm speeding. I'm going to speed up the. Or by the time you've watched this, I sped up the start of the video because that's what I felt like doing at the time. So it might not be. Oh, well, that's important, relevant information, Ewan. Talk more about how long the video is. My apologies. Everyone, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm not a professional fucking speaker. There you go, more finger smudging. Of course, it does look kind of messy right now, but there's plenty of time to sort that shit out. Yeah. Let's do a tonguey one in Pinky Wink. Ooh. But again, a bit more of a fleshy pink than just a straight pink, because that would stand out too much. So again, as you see in my palette, I'm not using just white and pink and peach and stuff. Everything's coming out of this purple. I'm blending everything into the purple and the peachy purple and shit to keep it all toned in, rather than have, you know, a painting that's purple here and pink here and different colours here and there. Very limited colour palette will pull your painting together. Yeah? Yeah. Maybe. If it works. Which we hope it does, obviously. And there's going to be a few tricksy little things. For instance, painting black is always tricky, because you can't really... You don't paint black, you paint the light reflecting off of the black. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. So, you know, her hair's black, obviously, but, like, I'm going to have to paint in some kind of shape and form and highlight at some point. But, of course, the go-to would be like, well, you do, like, light black, which is, like, grey, and then... But, obviously, the whole piece is purple, isn't it? So I can't go throwing just greys around. That will look silly. It'll stand out too much. So what we need to do then is get some more of this fucking purple. Put a little bit of black in there, just to dull it. Not necessarily darken it, but dull it. So it is more of a grey purple, but still purple. Still purple. And then a bit of white. So it is looking kind of grey. there. This colour here, I'm going to use, if it works, which it may well not do, to try and get some highlights in her hair. Let's see if I've got this an okay shade. Is that showing? Yeah, that looks mildly usable. Maybe a touch lighter. Might work. She's got this fringe, so I'm trying to just highlight the bridge of it before it cascades over her face. And again, nothing perfect. That doesn't need to be perfect. It's not like I'm going to be selling this painting or anything, so, you know, whatevs. Fucking whatever. I don't give a shit, mate. Trying to follow the form of said hair. And I don't really like making hair too, like, thin, painting every strand of hair. I prefer the hair to be like a body, so you're painting the whole shape of the body of the hair rather than every fucking strand of hair. So you put lines in so you can tell it's hair, obviously, but don't overdo it. Do you know what I mean? I feel like this is being a very informative video. I hope it is. I've had some very positive feedback on some of my other videos, so I'm hoping that this will do the same. And thank you all who leave feedback, positive or otherwise. I do take critiques well and seriously. If you feel I could be doing something better, let me know. I may well ignore you for being an obvious idiot, but, you know, I appreciate the effort that you've gone to tell me a thing. Maybe. Do I? I don't know. Just fucking paint you, and how about that? Yeah, alright, my bad. I think that's going okay. I'm going to have to add some of that to her lower lip, so you can see this black shape here is her lower lip. Now I've got to be careful not to overdo it. It's a difficult one. It's a very stylised lower lip, of course. But, we'll see what we can do. Bit more of a highlight in that pupil. Yes. Truly do. Or truly don't. You put that a bit high up. Let's see. Not entirely awful. This may work yet. Yeah, this is working well enough. Like I always say, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. Maybe. A little bit of hair over her shoulder, and a bit of hair coming down here. Of course, I'm in danger now of making her hair look lighter than it should be. So I have to be careful with the amount of highlight I do actually use. I'm actually trying to concentrate on this one, so I'm not talking as much. My apologies for that. Yeah, this is working. I'm going to put a bit of rim lighting around here. So I'm leaving this all black because it's going to have a very sort of harsh white outline to bring it out. So that's something. That's a thing, I guess. Let's just make her dress stand out a little bit more. Work some of that purple underlighting in. Oh, bleh. I have nothing to talk about now. Sorry, I blew my wad, as it were. I guess preparation for these sorts of things is a good idea in the end. To actually prepare topics and such to talk about. Maybe I should try that sometime. Right, let's get some harsher highlights on some things. Do we need to go like lighter and then lighter, or do we reckon just we're ready for the pure white highlight on the hair and such? It's tricky. It's tricky knowing how much fucking highlightier to go. Do we go all in straight away, or do we wait? I reckon about there. Yeah, it seems to be okay. Yeah, that's good enough. Good enough. Alright, let's get some white. When I paint, I if I'm painting just quietly on my own, I will often listen to or sometimes podcasts or a lot of stand-up comedy. I could put some of that on while I paint, but for the podcast, it seems a bit. I don't know, perhaps a bit much. I mean, to have music playing under me is one thing, but I think having comedy on in the background is another. Also, there's copyright issues, and I don't know what I am and am not allowed to fucking broadcast if I don't own the rights to it. So now I'm just putting in some hot white highlights, some harsher lighting, just to really bring out the forms just on the precipice of each thing. So the cheeks get a highlight here, the forehead and eyebrows, and the nose gets a shiny little dot. Teeth, the nose ring should get a little bit. I don't know if that works. Yeah, oh well. Some more highlighty light in the eyes. Again, weirdly, I do feel that the painting looks better in person than it does in the in person. I feel like the painting does look better in the flesh live than it does on the video. Maybe it's the lighting. I'm not going to say I'm not happy with it. It's just I'm rusty. That's what it is. I've not painted properly in quite some time. I think I got kind of lucky with that demon chick I painted. But, you know, it's what it is, isn't it? Not every work can be your best piece of work. Sometimes you have to just suck a shit and be bad at things. Them's the breaks, kid. Kiddo. Kiddie kids. Come here, kids. Oh, yeah. Perhaps that's why I don't talk much. You know, see, because, fucking shut up, you and you cunt. Now for something completely different. Placement, you and placement. Can you tell what that was going to be? Where do we reckon? There. Almost exactly where I put it before. Perfect. Perfect, bow, perfect. That's all the music underneath my podcast. It will all just be whistling. Bad whistling. Not even the good kind. Oh, it's obviously a moon, isn't it? Oh, of course it is. Oh, bloody moony moon. Moon face, moon river. Wider than a mile. I'm crossing you in style someday. Dream maker, you heartbreaker. Wherever you're going, I'm going your way. I cannot explain why I know the words to Moon River. If I do know them, did I get them right? Does anyone know? Scandal. But not, obviously. Fucking fuck. No. Do I paint the harsh white rim lighting before or after I do the ink? Before or after I do the ink. Let's do some inking. The problem with inking, of course, is that you get the nice harsh black lines back in, but they may end up contrasting with the rest of the piece. So you may have to do more than you had first thought you might. But you know, it was a drawing first. It had very bold black lines. So there's no reason it shouldn't have the same when it's a painting. Or is there? This girl also has shitty nubs for eyebrows, so I'm trying to emphasise those. Eyebrows, of course. Fucking goth girls, a bunch of weirdos. Again, I know I should talk, but it does take a lot out of me to continually speak. I'm doing my best here, people. Focus on the art, not the artist. Oh, what a nice quote. I hope someone wrote that one down. Make a nice inspirational fucking landscape quote image thing. One of those bullshit fucking things. Mm-hmm. There you go. Bit of definition. Tightens it right up. Ooh, bloody nice, yeah. Shit on a dog's back. Ooh. Walking on me when I'm in the toilet. Accidentally sit on me while I'm sitting having a shit. And then shit all over my dick and balls. Bloody hell. Ooh. Apparently that's all I've got to say about that. Ooh. Really, Ewan? Shit all over your dick and balls? Really? Is this what people are paying for? Paying for your podcast? To hear you talk about having your dick and balls shat upon? The height of creativity. That's what that is. I'm just a creative soul, man. Don't kill my flow, man. Just shit on my dick and balls, man. Please. I need it. That's my dial-up connection impression. I think I'll tell you for what. Sorry, guys. My happy polylogies. That's a Clockwork Orange. All the movie references in one place. Welcome to the Ewan Sucks podcast, where Ewan really does suck. That was the sound of me sucking a penis. Oh, the fun never stops. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be gregarious. That's a word. I have to concentrate to get this right. I might go quiet again for a bit. Now, the rim lighting, here's an important thing. The rim lighting is not an outline. It does not happen outside of whatever it is you're painting. It happens within the outline. So if you can see, the black outline stays on the outside, and the rim lighting is part of the form because it's lighting around the rim of the form. It is not an outline, so do not outline your piece with your rim lighting, but rather use it to accentuate the form that is already there. And don't overdo it as well. I've ruined many pieces by overdoing the rim lighting, just going around the whole fucking thing. So don't do that. And again, you know, it's just one of those things where you do it enough, you learn, you get the hang of it. And ultimately, look at other people doing it. Look at the comics I look at and see where they've used rim lighting and go, oh yeah, I see. and then you might get it down, and then you'll be alright. Put some extra little hairy hairs in there. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Oh, sorry, I just bumped my ear against my phone. I was worried I'd ruin everything. Even more than I already am. Good one, Ewan. You are so funny and witty. I love your podcast so much. Now you need to be on the top as well, up here. It's not too bad, is it? Now, because the moon is obviously behind her, you could say that this whole bit should be have the old rim lighting too. But I fear that they may overdo it slightly. And you don't want to overdo it at all, not even slightly. You do need to be a bit careful with it. Again, you've got to know what not to paint as much as you've got to know what to paint in. Whatever. Just fucking paint anything. Shit's all good. Paint over it if it's shit. Which it will be. Not to say that your paintings will be shit, but I was referring to my own because I'm just that way inclined, you know. Tone that down a bit. I don't know. I reckon that'd do. What do you reckon? Do you reckon that'd do? Is that good enough? Is it? Does that please you? Are you not entertained? Gladiator, obviously. Goes without saying, that one, doesn't it? But he said it anyway. The fucking silly goose. I think, should I do anything more to it, I'm liable to ruin it. So I'm going to put one last little bit in there. Now I could use a bit of spray paint for the moon just to give it that like spray glowy kind of thing, but fuck it. Bit old hat, isn't it? Bit of a hack move. Right, okay, this is the bit people like, innit? The grand finale, as it were. Oh, pardon me. It's been about an hour. I've got the piece done in about an hour. It looks okay, but wait. Just you bloody wait. Oh, smart. Oh, even smarter. Oh no, the tape ripped. What am I gonna do? Oh, that's right. And there you go. Nice little picture. Oh, even almost fits dimensionally into the old camera there. So that's my painting of a person I know who I painted over her drawing, and oh fuck it. That's it at the end. You get it. Cheers. Oh, I forgot the shitting mesh, didn't I? So I added it in. Yeah, cool. Are we done now? Okay. Ugh.